Thanksgiving is a time of year when people sit in reflection upon wonderful memories of days gone by. It is a time of rejoicing, of celebration, of reestablishing the bonds of friendship and family. It is the pinnacle of our autumnal consciousness. But it is also a time when the specters and phantoms of the past emerge to dance as vague shadows along the stones of the amber-lit hearth, to flit as tattered shades through the dark, crisp November air. Blackwater Media presents A Haunted Thanksgiving. In August of 2005, a group of workmen were hired to do repairs at the Spooner House in Plymouth, Massachusetts, and upon arriving, knocked at the door. A little girl in colonial period costume opened it, which surprised no one, as the more than 262-year-old house had been a museum for over 50 years. They got busy with their task, and soon along came the curator, who, being curious, asked how they got in. The foreman shrugged and said, "The little girl let them in." "What little girl?" the curator asked. The workman led the curator to the room which the little girl had entered, only to find it, as well as the rest of the house, empty. The workman, not used to encountering ghosts in broad daylight, packed it in and left. Now, I don't know about you, but little girl ghosts creep me out. Maybe it's just the leftovers from seeing The Shining years ago. Or hell, it could just be that little girl ghosts are creepy. By all accounts, the ghost of Abigail Townsend is a friendly little spirit and shouldn't frighten anyone. Abigail was a tiny thing when the Spooner family took her into the family home in the mid-18th century. The house itself is one of the oldest houses on one of the oldest streets in America. Plymouth, of course, was founded by the Pilgrims in 1620, and today bills itself as America's hometown. Built about 1749 on North Street, just one street over from Leiden Street, where, according to tradition, the Pilgrims built their settlement, 5 generations of Spooners call that 2-story house their home. Originally constructed for the widow Hannah Jackson, the first Spooner to take up residence was a successful businessman and patriot of the American Revolution, Deacon Ephraim Spooner. It stayed in the family until the death of James Spooner in 1954. It was James who willed the house and all its furnishings to be turned into a museum. Today it contains over 200 years of original furnishings, giving one a sense of how life has changed, or perhaps how little life has changed in Plymouth over the past 2 centuries. And perhaps it's haunted by James as well. Music has been heard coming from the house when it was quite empty, and James was well known as a patron of the musical arts. But alas, it's the creepy little kid ghosts that get all the publicity, and so the music is attributed to Abigail. Historically, we do know that Abigail fell victim to a tooth infection, dying in an upstairs room of the Spooner house. There was no penicillin in those days, and the infection spread, and there was nothing to do but try to comfort the little girl in what must have been an agonizing death. Since then, she's been seen periodically, peering from the windows, rustling the bushes along the alley, even occasionally standing at the corner of the house. But more recently, she seems to have become more active. According to Emily Wilcox, a news service writer, a woman who used to live next door to the Spooner house awoke in the middle of the night to find Abigail standing at the foot of her bed. Another writer relates how, on a tour of Plymouth, outside the Spooner house, a woman felt someone touching her shoulder. Turning, she saw a little girl who said, "I have to go now," and promptly vanished. The group was amazed at the special effects, until the tour guide assured them that there were no special effects. There have been bizarre experiences at the Spooner house. Lights have been spotted going from room to room upstairs at night, such as that of a candle or lantern. And once a tourist asked the guide to shine the light between a crack and some shutters so she might have a look inside. The guide obliged, and the shutters flew open to reveal a woman standing there staring back, who then vanished as the onlookers fled. So that's the story of Abigail. As you contemplate these rather creepy and ghostly anecdotes, remember, as you gather together with friends and family, have a haunted Thanksgiving.